Greetings, YouTubers, Instagrammers, TikTokers, Facebookers, Xers, formerly known as Tweeters. I thought I'd do a quick video. No, quick could be 15 minutes. But I just wanted to do a proper video. I haven't bullet pointed anything. I'm just thinking about my pillars, about my morale, about my mantra, and how best to serve those who are watching this. So faith, family, food, health. That's what it's going to be. You know, I touched on being diagnosed young with RA. And I just want to talk about that for a second, in tandem with faith. Now, there are lots of people who, like I said before, I received my healing in 2010. And there's an aspect of faith and action that you have to intermingle with your walk. It depends on what's going on in your body. So I'm going to speak on this because this is what I can speak about. There are other things, but this is the main thing I'm going to speak about. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not anything like that. I'm just someone who has an interest in herbs, has an interest in health and well-being, and I learn things along the way. But there is definitely an interconnectivity in the body. I've always been someone, well, for as long as I can remember, I say always, and it's not always, like I wasn't born saying this, but for a long time I have said, I refuse to confess to be tired during the day. You'd be lucky if you hear me say it when I'm going to my bed. Simply because if you start your day by just saying how tired you are, do you know you'll be tired for the rest of the day? You're literally saying it and you're telling yourself it. So you're saying it so that you can hear it. And then when you hear it, it goes into your heart. It's something your spirit hears. It's something your body hears. Your body responds to that which it's around. So we have to begin our healing journey with how we're talking. I'm not saying don't be honest. I'm a big advocate. Be honest about where you are. I remember having a conversation with somebody. Excuse me. Having a conversation with somebody and me just saying, how can you possibly, by faith, believe and receive healing for something you haven't acknowledged is there? And they were like, oh, that's not biblical. This was at the time. This was a long time ago. I'm just like, let's not be deep. I'm deep when I need to be, but this isn't something to be deep about. My man who was weaved down the roof of a house so that Jesus could heal him of paralysis. Man no say him is paralyzed. He no say him paralyzed. He can't move at all. He have to have him friend them to come and help him to get to Jesus. No so? So hopefully I've got subtitles down there to translate that mild patois. But yeah, you need to acknowledge that something's going on. So please don't be like, I don't have that. Please don't do that. I don't use the word mine. I say I was diagnosed with, because, and even I correct my GP, I will correct my consultant and I'll say the arthritis because it doesn't belong to me. I didn't ask for it. I don't want it. It's not a matter of not acknowledging it's there, but just like it's not mine. It's not a part of me, but it affects me. So yeah, just be watchful of the things that you say. Sometimes you just got to start small. How many foolish things come out of our mouth every day? How many things do we say that are idle words that are aimless and benefit us not? Oh, excuse me. Just keeping it real. So yeah, be just mindful of what you say. You want to live well? Say, I want to live well. I want to live well. I was saying that in the middle of a flare-up. The flare-up I had affected my studies. It affected my day-to-day. I couldn't barely get out of bed. Taking my daughter to school was tricky a lot. Had to ask friends. Thank God we have friends who are local that their children go to my daughter's school and they can travel together. But start with refusing to settle. Because that's the hardest thing. Sometimes we just believe that this is our lot. Because especially in the middle of it, it's very hard to believe that anything could be any different. You know, you could live asymptomatic for the rest of your life and still have the diagnosis on your name. You could live and have symptoms, but they be mild, or you could have full-blown flare-ups that just don't dissipate at all. So, I'm not cutting those things out, by the way. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with each of those things, but it's up to you. And I constantly have to remind myself about the fact that I want to live well, I want to live long and strong, I want to be fit for the purpose God has called me to. So especially when it comes to the example of my daughter, I love children. The way that they are just honest, God bless my daughter. She'd be like, I explain things to her, and she's very inquisitive and asks questions, which is very good, and I encourage it. So when I talk about the substance of fat, like telling her everybody has fat, for example, and she'd be like, "Oh, you're not fat, mummy." And then I'll have other conversations with her, and I don't say that I am. We don't self-loathe around here, but like I might have another conversation with her where I'm like, "Oh, I need to do this, oh, I need to get rid of this belly." She's like, "We just need to exercise." I love children. I love it. I don't reprimand her for that. Why would I do that? Because she's not wrong. I don't have consistent activity outside of walking yet. And a part of that is because I just couldn't do anything else bar go swimming, which I did stop in the summer when it got a little bit hard to keep doing it when, because I want to go. There's going with my daughter, and then there's going without my daughter. And I don't know if I have to say much else about that. It's not the same. But yeah, I didn't go for a while, and I've just booked a class for the end of the week. By the end of the week, I'll let you know if I still go to the class. But I'm trying to find consistencies in my current day-to-day schedule, which will allow me to be able to be able to execute that. I'm still figuring out a few things of my day-to-day. But yeah, just start with, again, where you are, but start with acknowledging it for what it is. Start speaking differently. I used to tell my dad when he had rheumatism as well. He had rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, and he had ankylosing spondylitis, which is a arthritis of the spine, and a couple of other things that are irrelevant. But he would say something, and my father very rarely complained, very rarely. And I do believe that God put us in the same space for a reason, and I'll talk about that another time. But he lived with me in the last 9 years of his life. This will be the second time he came to stay at my place. And I do believe that he was here for a reason. He was here to live with someone who knew how it felt to feel how he felt, but be okay. I've had a flare, but I'm okay now. I've adjusted I'm telling you, God put me on the journey with my diet a few years ago when my daughter was like a baby. She was barely a toddler. And I'll come back to that another stage. I'll talk about that separately. But yeah, it enabled him to have faith to see. And eventually he got to a point where he didn't want to take pictures with his frame because he said, "I want to believe that I'll be well one day." So going back to him, he would say, "I could do it too, new foot." And I would say to him, someone without legs is wishing they had your legs. And we would, eventually there was a chuckle about it, but I mean, he wouldn't even say anything back. Like, what do you say to that? What do you say to that? So it's not even a matter of diminishing the pain that he feels, but just reminding us that when we feel pain, we're alive. When we feel pain, we're alive. And where there's life, there's hope. So please, just start speaking differently and acknowledging what it is that's going on in your body. And that can apply to any other area of your life as well. So take that, and I'll bring another nugget another time. Yes.